Hey everybody, what's up? My name's Mackenzie.
And I'm Jonathan.
We are husband and wife, and we'd like to welcome you to TerreDice.
And today we're taking a look at Gnome Hollow, published by the Op.
Yeah, so this is an adorable game where we are all playing these cute little gnomes as we forest for mushrooms, collect flowers, and get treasures for doing so. So, if that sounds like something you might want to play, then just keep watching.
So Gnome Hollow at its core is a tile placement game. We're going to be placing these tiles to make rings of these white button mushrooms. Now when we complete those, it's going to grow other colorful mushrooms that we'll collect, and we'll turn those in eventually for treasures at the end of the game. Ultimately, you're only going to win for your points you get from those treasures, from creating and completing these rings of white mushrooms, and then also for collecting these wildflowers, which you will occasionally do as well. So to do that, on your turn, you're going to be placing 2 tiles from this general supply. You may also have personal tiles that you've collected at some point that you'll place as well, and then you will resolve all the crazy cascading effects that happen from doing so. This is one of those games where you might do one thing that causes like 7 things to happen back to back. So once you've resolved all of those things, you're going to be getting some points for closing some rings, and you're going to be moving one of your gnomes to perform a gnome action. So that gnome action could be go to the market and sell your mushrooms. Now this is a sort of closed market where once a certain value of mushrooms has been sold, no one else can do that. You also have the ability to collect these wildflowers, which are a set collection scoring mechanism. And then you also can go visit these signposts where you can potentially trade mushrooms for other mushroom types.
Yes, it's definitely done in a point salad type of way, meaning there's going to be many different ways and a variety of ways that you can get points, but they're also going to start cascading off of each other. So it's kind of this balance of you kind of have to do a little bit of everything in order to keep growing up your treasure and your fortune as that gnome.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that I like about these types of games. It's like I could keep doing the same thing I'm doing for 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, or if I do this other thing, I'll get 4 points and then 2 points, and then 4 points and then 2 points. So you kind of have to mix up your strategy to min-max those points that you're getting.
What did you like about this game?
Yeah, honestly, like I love these sort of puzzly games where you're sort of trying to figure out, okay, how do I place these hexes in a way that works for me? Now, the like standout piece that's like very specific to Gnome Hollow, that's like a very big wow moment, is you're trying to create these rings of mushrooms, and it doesn't look like much when you're building it, when you're creating these little paths, but then you zoom out and you see, oh my gosh, we built a star, and we built like a little triangle, and a circle, and a mushroom shape. Like you see all these crazy looking shapes that you designed as you were building out the tiles. Oh my gosh, does it have a really satisfying like end look, and it's really fun to contribute to that.
If you've ever played the game Carcassonne, if you're familiar with that, it has the same sort of end feel, like that you create like there's going to be a new map every single time you play of all the different shapes that you're making. And it's similar to Carcassonne, but it is built on those different points, but it's a lot more, I would say, more complicated than Carcassonne.
Yeah. Now, different from Carcassonne, where you can actually like sort of take other people's cities by building into them, this game actually has some very friendly sort of anti-competitive mechanisms. So interestingly, if you reserve a mushroom trail, you've sort of determined this is my mushroom ring, and nobody else can contribute to that without your permission. So if somebody creates a tile that maybe helps them but also connects to one of your rings, they actually have to ask your permission to be able to do that, and they can't connect with a ring that you're completing. So you'll never run into these situations where someone takes something that you're already creating. They may like make it harder to make the shape you want by building around it, but this is not a mean game. So.
No, going off of that, it is a very friendly style play, which I tend to enjoy, not like that take that where someone's just gonna ruin your plan, because it does all help out everybody. So if you are creating these flowers and adding them to the market, those are now available for everybody to go and collect and to go put in their own market. So in that way, but it doesn't mean it's not competitive. So with those mushrooms, with them only being able to have a certain amount to get those points, those are going to be gone. So those are what you're going to be fighting over. And also, like, do I push my luck to try and wait for one more purple mushroom, or is Jonathan here going to go ahead and cash in that, and then I've lost out?
And you blocked me a couple times too.
So it is interesting.
Yeah, so that's where you'll really be competing, is on the supply and demand in the game and on the tiles. Now, another thing that I really enjoyed about this game, it's baked in a lot of really adorable theme. You have these two gnomes who are given full characters. They have full backstories in the rulebook. I like Beatrice and Betty. You're
yeah,
two.
they're my go-to.
I played, was it Pumpkin and Gourd? I really liked, or Peanut and Gourd, I think. I really like those two as well. They have fun stories for them. And you get this whole journal entry at the beginning of this birder who's going through the forest, and then he finds out that gnomes exist. It's just got a really good setup, which I think is fun.
Yes, so I am a sucker for gardening games. It's funny because I can't stand farming games, but gardening games are fine. I love them. I don't know what it is. Yeah. It's with the adorable fantasy element also put in there with the adorable gnomes that make it just really, really cute. And we were lucky enough, fortunate enough to be able to play with the deluxe version of this game, which those wooden pieces were very nice to be handling.
So clickety-clackety, they're so nice. Yeah. But base game components are plenty fine too for
yes.
this. Yeah.
Speaking of components, what does come with both versions? Can you talk about the magnetic board?
Yes, gone are the dual layer boards of the yesteryear. Today we have magnetic player boards. Now these have a metal sheet in them, and there are magnets embedded in the little player tokens, and you can literally pick up these boards and the pieces don't fall off. It is so cool. So it is just like a super unique way to like make sure things stay in place when you like knock your boards, and it works really well. It's pretty cool. They're a bit heavy, but
it's
like
slick
weight-wise.
too. Yeah. Now to up the complexity, there are two sides to that board that you were going to be playing. So there's the basic side, but basic, I don't know. I find them complicated in different ways for different reasons.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily so much a basic side as like, it's certainly more restrictive on the back side where you have to get specific shapes for your mushroom rings, which is really fun.
Yeah.
On the back or on the front side, you have a bit more simple in that you just care about the ring size, but you still have to make all these choices about what types of bonuses you take.
Yes,
such.
but I also found that when I was on the back side, yes, I had to look for certain pieces that could make this. It also showed me what they were supposed to look like. Where the first time I was playing on the other side, I was like, how am I going to close this? I felt like I was more like trying to figure out how to create a shape that would actually form like a ring.
So it gave you blueprints to...
Yeah, it was interesting, like the pull. Now, I want to talk about the company that put this out. So this is from the Op, which is traditionally, you would know them as, they are the Monopoly Tapple company. Telestrations and that whole party line. But they are diving deep into the hobby board game. I was talking to people that work there, and they're like, we do the Monopoly and Telestrations to fund these epic projects like this. And they just went all out with Gnome Hollow, and they're like, we are here to make tabletop board games really well and with really good theme. And I think they really showed that with Gnome Hollow. Yeah,
this one's a whole lot of fun. It's surprisingly a light enough rule set where it's pretty easy to grasp, but there is a lot going on because of those cascading turns. If I were to give it like one critique, I think it's just like, there's so much cascading that it's one of those games where you forget where you were in your turns sometimes. When you're like, okay, what have I done and what have I not done? Oh, I didn't refill those tiles. Oh, I need to place my second tile, because you make like 5 things happen and now you gotta think back to where you were. If you're good at that kind of game, it's super satisfying. But if you struggle with keeping track of where you were mentally on your turn, this will be a challenge.
Yeah, I can say it can fall into that problem of doing things out of order, or I will want to like do other parts of my turn and be like, wait, I haven't placed that my other second tile yet.
Yeah.
And there is, I think, technically an order that you were supposed to do all these steps in so that you cannot cheat. But remembering all of that can be harder. So if I would say this is for gamers. It's gonna, but like, light gaming isn't really the thing, but like medium, I would say Gateway Plus. But if you are a family, I think you should have played some of those more like gaming games. Like, you're not going to go from Monopoly to playing Gnome Hollow. Like, it would be a big step, I think.
Yeah, but if you played lots of Carcassonne and you played tile placement games, this is a great step up.
Definitely, definitely. And speaking of the Op, thank you guys so much for providing us with this copy of the game. We were really excited to be able to play it. No other monetary value was exchanged for this review. We were just excited to be able to finally play it because I've heard so much about it for such a long time. Anything else? Any other thoughts?
No, we did a live stream on the channel a little while ago, so if you want to see what full gameplay is, you can go ahead and check that out with our friend Jacqueline.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know whenever we put out a new video. And we'll see you next time.
Happy playing.
But yeah, thank you, and thank you, Jacqueline, for coming over to play.
Thank you, Smooth Singer.
Thanks for
glad you
having me.
enjoyed the video.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Happy playing.
Bye.
Bye.